My student ID is 151351071. Today my presentation topic is input-output modules. Every microprocessor has two sections, and that is input section and another one is output section. There are four types of I/O modules. Number one, discrete input and output. Number two, analog input and output. Number three, the specialty I/O module. And number four, communication modules. Discrete versus analog inputs. Discrete or digital input signals are two state signals, input on or input off, 1 or 0. Analog input signals have different values, 0 to 10 volts DC, minus 10 to plus 10 volts DC, and 4 to 20 milliamps. There are different kinds of module features. Identifier as to type of module is input output, and number 3 is combination input or output. Another one is status indicators, screw terminals for connecting field devices and removable terminal blocks. There is a module that is called SLC 500 combination. This combination works like each screw terminal will have a unique identifier called an address. Each field device input screw terminal will correlate to a status indicator. Status indicator will be on when the input points see an input signal. Status indicator will have same address identifier as input screw terminal. There are 16-point input module with 8 points per common, and also binary data representation includes in I/O module, and that is such as we communicate to other using groups of letters arranged into words. The PLC uses groups of bits called words. Different bit patterns represent different information. Bits. Another one is bits. Unlike English, computers have two characters available. We know that 1 or 0. Each 1 or 0 is called a binary digit or bit. We also know that. Binary is a base or radix 2. A single bit is the smallest unit of computer data. Next is the PLC words. PLC words works like one measure of a computer's capabilities is the length of the data words on which it can operate. Current PLCs use 16-bit words. Newer PLC use 32-bit words. SLC 500 family PLCs are 16-bit computers. There is one another thing, and that is data table format. Data table format like words are 16 bits, minus bits 0 through bit 15. Then first word or bit is always 0. SLC, and another one is SLC 500 data tables can contain up to 256 words, 0 to 255. Input data file like each input screw terminal has one memory location to store on or off status, and input data is stored in the input data file, also called the input status file. And the last one is input status. The file holds input status information which is used to solve later program, and that's it. And input data file identified as an I-type data file. Only one input status file allowed per project. Only has words created for actual modules in system. There is one another thing, and that is discrete input status table word. 16-point discrete input modules are assigned to one word in the input status table. A 16-point discrete input module residing in slot 3 would be addressed as 1 is to 3 0.0 bits 0 through 15. Discrete IO module with 32 points. This is because input status word is 16 bits wide. There are 16 bits available for up to 16 IO screw terminals. A 32-point IO module will require two 16-bit words to accommodate all IO points. For a 32-point input module in slot 3, two words 1 is to 3.0 and another one is 1 is to 3.1 will be created as part of the IO configuration. Next thing is input addressing for upper 16 bits. Screw terminal 16 address would be 1 is to 3 1 by 0. Screw terminal 17 address would be 1 is to 3.1 by 1. 18 address would be 1 is to 3.1 by 2, and the last one 31 address would be 1 is to 3.1 by 15. Analog inputs. Typical analog signals come from temperature, pressure, position, and motor speed. Analog input modules convert analog signals to digital words. Analog input signals are current or voltage. Analog module configuration. Module configuration, like analog input information comes in as an input channel. Analog modules are like all inputs, all outputs, combination of input and output channels. Input word assignment. 1746 NI8 is an 8-channel analog input module. 8 words will be assigned to the input status table as part of the IO configuration. Module in slot 4 will have words 1 is to 4.0 through 1 is to 4.7, one for each channel. And the last one is output word assignment. 1746 N04B is a 4-channel analog voltage output module. 4 words will be assigned to the output status table as part of the IO configuration. Module in slot 4 will have words 0 is to 4.0 through 0 is to 4.3, one for each channel. This is my end of presentation, and thank you.